My name is Logan Elku, and this is my place in Canadian history. My place in Canadian history starts in Debrecen, Hungary, where my great-grandmother Ines Sonin and great-grandfather Dave Demeter lived. In 1941, my great-grandparents fled to Canada. They fled to Canada because they wanted to escape war-torn Europe. Hungary became involved in the war after signing the Tripartite Act later on. This made Hungary access powers with Germany, Romania, and mostly the rest of Europe. When my grandparents moved to Canada, they moved to a small farming town in Langton. In Langton, they started tobacco farming. Many other Hungarian immigrants started farming, fishing, or retail industries. After a couple of years of farming, my great-grandparents knew they were ready to have a child, and 9 months later, they had my grandpa Robert Demeter. My grandpa excelled in academics and sports. However, when he turned 14, he had to drop out of school and help with the farming industry. He became very familiar with farming and became self-taught with many different trades, like welding, farming, etc. In the summer 1 year later, many teenagers were looking for summer jobs. And one day my grandma, Mary Sonin, started working there. On the job, the two met and it was love at first sight. My grandma's parents were also immigrants. However, they came from Brussels, Belgium. Her parents also wanted to flee because of their country becoming war-torn. Belgium during the beginning of the war was neutral until May 10, 1940, when Germany invaded Belgium. Belgium stood their ground for 2.5 weeks before having to surrender and become a Nazi-occupied state. When my grandma and her parents came to Canada, they moved to a small village about 3 minutes out of Langton called Frogmount. They owned a market selling locally grown foods. This is how my grandmother had almost a guaranteed job on my grandpa's farm. Her and my grandpa hit it off right from the first minute they met each other. After a month, they began dating, and by the age of 21, they were married. They had moved in together and took over my great-grandpa's farm. When they knew they were financially stable, they had my mother, Sharon Demeter. My mother grew up on the farm working there and going to Valley Heights High School. At Valley Heights High School, my mother met my father in a physics class. They became best friends and later lifelong partners. When they graduated, they both went to Fanshawe College. My mother went for business, and my father, Joseph Elku, went for mechanical technicianing. My mother is currently working at Tobacco, and my father is currently working at Stryker Medical Institute. At the age of 25, my mother gave birth to me, and 4 years later gave birth to my sister, Kennedy Elku. If the decision of moving to Canada almost 80 years ago never took place by my great ancestors, I quite possibly would never be here today. My family has made a big impact on helping with tobacco production, helping put food on people's plates by growing crops, patenting ideas, and helping with businesses' economics. I hope to also make an impact on Canadian history. My future goal is to go to Holland College and PEI for the commercial diving course so one day I can help save lives by being part of a search and rescue team. This is my family's place in Canadian history and my future plans to continue the Elku generation.